Hey, what's happening, YouTubers? Today we're going to do a little bit of team building. Basically, I'm going to go over like how to assemble a Justice League display with your McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse collection, or kind of like a buyer's guide, like what figures to get to build it out. And before I begin, I know my homies like DC Multiverse Collector and Bones the Necros, who did their own version a couple years ago. Feel free to check it out. But I kind of want to do my own, but this one's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be like team specific in terms of like their looks or their eras. Like, I know people are like, you can't mix, Action Comics 1000 with year 2, because what I'm gonna basically do is pick like their definitive classic looks, or what I think is classic, and how you can kind of like assemble them together. I'm gonna go off of the OG 7 first, but I'm gonna start with the Trinity, and right off the bat, I'm gonna start with Wonder Woman because, I mean, let's be real, this is really the only version you have of a classic Wonder Woman in the DC Multiverse line so far, because apparently there's a rumor that there's supposed to be another one coming out this year, so if you can get this one, you know, props to you for a decent price, but it's kind of hard now in the aftermarket to get this for a fair price. You can also kit bash your own. A couple of years ago, I made one, before we even got this figure, I made one with the Last Night on Earth Wonder Woman and did the head swap with the Endless Winter Wonder Woman head sculpt, and it kind of worked for its time, but yeah, now that we finally have a classic one, if you can get it, go ahead and pick this one up. Obviously, this is the one to use for your Justice League display. Alright, next up is Superman. And like I said, this isn't era specific, it's just character specific that you can use to fit in your display. And I'm going to start with the Action Comics 1000. This is kind of like the reissue, re-release, but without the sculpted emblem. You can definitely use this for a Justice League display. Now, the problem lies with scaling. He is short, so if depending which Batman you use, he ain't going to scale very well. And as you can see, I kind of kit bash this. I put Chad Superman's head sculpt on there, the mullet one, because I like that version on the Action Comics 1000. But this one would work for a classic Superman in your display. You can kind of fudge it with perspective by having him on like a flight stand or something like that if he's too short, because, yeah, I mean, compared to Wonder Woman, he looks like Danny DeVito. But that's one option, is the Action Comics 1000 Superman. Another one is this... Well, we'll do it live.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Another one is Hush Superman. Now, people might think I'm crazy for this, but it can kind of work, and the reason why I'm saying Hush Superman, and Jesus, body mold is definitely dated. But at the time, it was okay. But the reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, in terms of classic colors, this definitely fits the mold, and he's got that signature emblem painted on the back there, which is pretty cool. Now, in terms of the head sculpt, it's okay. He looks more like a Bruce Wayne than a Clark Kent to me. But this is also another alternative, and since he's hard to stand up, I'm just going to throw him over here. Another one was this classic Superman they came out with last year, and I was never a fan of that head sculpt. I did do a little bit of modification. I used smaller hands on here because he had some mitts on there, and then I also changed out the trunks with more classic trunks. And keep in mind, I did all this before we even got this one I'm about to show in a second. So the classic Superman also is another option, and this isn't bad actually. This is a pretty good, like, apart from the Silver Age one, it goes Silver Age, Action Comics 1000, and then this Page Puncher's body mold that is my third favorite body mold for Superman. But this is also a good alternative. I'm just not a fan of that head sculpt. And then last, and certainly but not least, is this guy right here, the Silver Age Superman from the Digital Wave DC Direct. This is the Superman to get if you can. I think he's sold out everywhere right now. Even on GameStop, I went to go check recently. If you can get it, definitely pick up this one. It's the best one out of all of them. You might have to pay aftermarket, to be honest with you, because they did sell like hotcakes. But for Superman, these are my 4 recommendations for your Justice League display. Hush is over there. All right, now for Batman, there's a lot you can pick from, obviously, because this, you know, McFarlane Toys has done a ton of Batman figures. First couple of years and even now, still nothing but Batmans. But the earliest one I can remember, they have the the Detective Comics 1000 Batman. I don't have that on display. That's one you can use. It's really dated though when you look at the sculpt compared to these. You have the year 2 gold label Batman, which is kind of hard to find, but you can definitely fudge this into a classic Batman look for Justice League display. I actually like this one better than the platinum version that came out recently in the collector edition line. So this is one recommendation. Another one is this one that I kind of kit bashed together. It's the 3 Jokers Batman with the trunks from the Plastic Man Collect-a-Build Wave trunks, and the head sculpt is the Hush Batman, which is another alternative. You could also use the Hush Batman for this. the black and gray or the blue and gray. And speaking of black and gray, I like this version better. This is the black and gray Nightfall Batman variant that came out last year. And then another option is the, save him for last, the Silver Age Batman that just came out this year. And then this one, which is, you know, the same body mold as that, but it's the original release, the Nightfall blue and gray Batman, which is the best Batman figure they've made, in my opinion, so far. And you can get them in either color. I think these two are still readily available. This one might be double the price in the aftermarket, which is about 40 bucks, which isn't too bad. I think you can still get this version on Big Bad Toy Store. I'm not too sure because I was checking it the other day, but this one's definitely a good alternative. And if not, you can always get the Silver Age, which is still readily available and in stock. Okay, so here is the rest of the Justice League. I wanted to get the Trinity out of the way because there's so many variations to pick from. So now we can highlight the other four. So the next one I want to showcase is Martian Manhunter. This is the classic gold label version. I think this was a Target exclusive. But this is definitely the way to go for your Justice League display. You could always go for the Rebirth route. Obviously it's a different look, but whatever you want to do, if you just want to add a checklist like, oh, I have a Martian Manhunter for my display. This one is getting a little bit pricier now, so if you can get it for a reasonable price, pick it up, especially if you want to build out display. And in terms of Aquaman, I have the classic digital version. I just never opened it. I got it at one of the McFarlane Toy events from San Diego Comic-Con last year, but I actually like the Plastic Man version, the Collect Build Wave one, because I remember this version of Aquaman growing up with the hook arm, or hook hand I should say. Plus this one just looks much gnarlier. I like this version of Aquaman. But obviously you can use this one, or you can use the Endless Winter version, because that also has that sort of classic aesthetic. I've also seen people use the Endless Winter one with the head sculpt from, I think, Flash Gordon. You can use that too. And next up is Flash. This is from Flashpoint. This is from the Cyborg Collect-A-Build. Oops, let me get this in focus here. From the Collect-A-Build wave. I like this version better, but I've also seen people use the Rebirth Flash for their Justice League display. You could also use the latest one that came out with the King Kong, I think. But that's like 70 bucks. I just like this version better just because I think he represents a more classic aesthetic of the Flash as opposed to the Rebirth, which is also a good body mold to use as well, or for display. And then last is the Hal Jordan Green Lantern. This is the Silver Age version from the digital wave, whatever. It's a classic Hal Jordan. Now there's other options for Hal Jordan. You can also get the one that came out in that 2-pack, or you can also get the reissued version in the metallic paint. That was a Walmart exclusive. But for Hal Jordan, you have a couple options, just like you have a couple options for these other characters in your Justice League display. So overall, you have at least 2 options, sometimes 2 to 3, depending which character. But for me, these are my definitive Justice League display looks. And that car honking is sharing the same sentiments. Alright, so there you have it, YouTubers. This is my sort of definitive Justice League display look. And I know some people out there, the aesthetics, won't like it. They don't like it because it's Silver Age mixed with Nightfall mixed with other, renditions of these classic characters or these original Justice League characters. But to me, this works, and I kind of just wanted to make this video just like, if you wanted to, it's possible to make a classic Justice League team, and that's something a lot of people didn't think we'd get when the line first started, because all we kept getting were Dark Knights and Death Metal figures, which I still think are pretty cool, but here it is. If you wanted to, you could definitely build out a Justice League. But let me know what you think in the comments below, YouTubers. Do you like this setup? If not, let me know who your picks are for a classic Justice League display, or who you would put in your Justice League display from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. But like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.